I said at the beginning that one of the perks of my job are meeting so many courageous homeless people. The other perk is meeting people like the next speaker. Mike Mulgrew is the real deal. He started out as a teacher out in Staten Island and teaching regular students as well as students with special needs. And over the past years, you've seen him take on this mayor and really stand up and fight for our kids in the schools every day. Ladies and gentlemen, Mike Mulgrew.
I'm very proud to be standing here today. You see public and private unions and community groups all standing together saying that we want a strong economy for all. It is a very simple thing, but it's going to be a hard task in front of us. Right now, we're talking about the millionaire's tax, but this coalition has been brought together not just for this moment, but for years. Because we have gotten to this point in time, and this situation has taken years to get here, and it will take years to undo. We all live in the income disparity capital of the United States, New York. And we are right now in the middle of the income disparity city of the entire country, New York City. Now that's just plain greed. That's the only way to say it. It is greed. Greed has gotten us to this point. And that greed is now and greed is hurting. It's hurting millions of people across this country. We hear of all the fights going on, but people need to see what is happening in New York. And we have to show the rest of this country what needs to be done to make sure that all people, working men and women, families, have the ability to to live, to sustain, to nourish and nurture each other. And all you see now, more and more, challenges after challenges, are people struggling under the stress of the economy, struggling under the stress that the top 1% of this city makes more than $10,000 a day, yet the bottom 10% make $10,000 a year. These are policies that cannot continue. And the only way for us to stand up and to push back is in a coalition, or with people joining together and saying enough is enough. We want this to be a great city and a great state. We want this to be a great country, but one thing is sure, if we continue to grow the income disparity, it will not be. It will be a great country for very, very few. So our goal is that 5 years from now, we are standing here and we can say that we are now in the prosperity for all capital of the United States. Thank you all very much.
I tell you. Our next speaker, Zakaya Ansari, is the head of the Alliance for Quality Education. And I have to tell you, I grew up in a family with 8 kids, and I was blown away when I met her. She's also the mother of 8 children and a tireless advocate for all of our kids. Please welcome Zakaya Ansari.
Good afternoon. So AQE is a statewide collaborative of parents, youth, and community members, and often in those communities are ones the voices are never heard. And for the last 10 years, we've been fighting around for educational equity funding, and up until last year, we're very instrumental in stopping many of these cuts. In addition to that, AQE has been a leader in ensuring that the Campaign for Fiscal Equity has been fully funded. But as our schools are threatened with a potential $1.5 billion cut, on top of last year's devastating $1.4 billion cut, we know that something is wrong. And what we do know is that we all want our children to be college and career ready, and that more cuts will not get them there. But through grassroots advocacy, just like we're seeing in Wisconsin and Indiana, students walking out in Philadelphia, we can make a difference. And we have, in New York City, we have really been able to build tremendous momentum around this. A few weeks ago, and at Caucus Weekend, we had hundreds of parents and youth come. And in addition, on Valentine's Day, we went to our legislator's office and sent them Valentine's messages of don't break our children's heart. But most recently, we've been able to circulate a letter to the State Assembly where we were able to get 2/3 of the signatures of supporting the extension of the millionaire's tax and ensuring that they are going to make education a priority for our children. And in addition, a similar letter was sent where we were able to get 2/3 of signatures from the Senate Dems. So just as everyone else has stated, as AQE, we are excited to be part of the Strong Economy for All coalition. We are unions, we are organizations, and as we work and stand together, just like others around this country, and while some may want us to forget what democracy looks like, we stand here to say this is what democracy looks like. And the Campaign for Fiscal Equity not being fully funded and abandoned is not the way to bring trust back to Albany. Thank you.
Okay, next up, we have Hector Figueroa. He is the Secretary-Treasurer of SEIU 32 BJ. And our mayor, billionaire mayor, the richest man in the city, likes to say that Wall Street is the engine that drives this city. Hector and the people that he represents, they clean the windows, they're the superintendents, they're the doormen, the maintenance workers, cleaners, porters, security officers. They really are the heart and soul of this city. Hector Figueroa.
So, brothers and sisters, I think that a lot has been said here today that, our union of 120,000 property service workers fully endorse. But what I also think we need to say to those who are listening is that this is a coalition of the willing, of those who are willing to stay together and work together until the state of New York can have an economy that works for everybody. Queremos prosperidad para todos, not just for a few. Not just for a few. And what is important to realize is that we live in a state where income inequality has really increased, and the proposed solutions at the fiscal level in Albany and City Hall will only make things worse for the middle class, for the working poor, for the union workers, for the ones who need to be in a union to be able to pay better. And we cannot stand still witnessing how the structure of our fiscal government is going to exacerbate the problems in our state. So what we're saying today is we need an economy that works for all. We need a strong economy where work is rewarded, where the rich pay their fair share, where the working poor, the homeless, those who are struggling find a place in our society, an economy that really does justice to everybody. We want good jobs, we want strong communities, and we want government to be responsible for those in need. So, brothers and sisters, luchemos por eso, buenos trabajos, comunidades fuertes y un gobierno que sea responsable a nuestras necesidades. Can we do this? Can we build a strong economy? ¿Se puede? Can we do it? ¿Se puede? Sí se puede. Let's do it. Thank you.
Next up is Ana Maria Anchia from Make the Road, New York. And Make the Road is one of the most effective progressive groups representing over 8,000 dues-paying members, primarily low-income Latinos in Brooklyn, Queens, and Staten Island. Ana Maria Anchia.
Good afternoon, everyone. Are we ready to fight? Yes. Are we ready to win? Yes, we are. I came here about 13 years ago at the age of 17, looking for an opportunity. Like my family, over 8,000 people that are members of Make the Road New York have made this journey, this aspirational journey in search of opportunity, in search of the possibility of educating their kids, in search of jobs that are dignified, in search of housing that's not falling apart. And what they've found after years and years of working hard, of doing the right thing, is that New York City and New York State is telling them, you don't belong here. The millionaires belong here, you don't belong here. And people have not made this journey to now pick up and go somewhere else. We're here to stay because we've made this our home. We've made this the home that generations of immigrants have made. New York State has been the door and the entrance to the world of opportunity, and opportunity really is at the soul of the fabric of our city and our state. And so this fight for good jobs, this fight for good housing, this fight for good schools, is a fight for the soul and for the energy that brought us here. And it's a fight for the soul of our communities and for the fabric of our society. So we're here. We're so excited to be joining all our allies, amazing allies who've been fighting for justice for so long, to make sure that we roll back this inequality that has now characterized the state of New York, to make sure that we roll back this abuse and exploitation that has become the standard practice in many of the industries in New York, and to make sure that working people, the children of working people, the young people that are right now walking down the streets of Bushwick and Jackson Heights can say with some level of certainty that they will be able to stay in New York and that they will be able to make a home, to make New York their home, and that they will be able to feed their children and to pay for rent and to have a dignified job. So that's why we're here. We're here to save opportunity. We're here to say that fairness is a value that we all share, and that millionaires should also do their part. And that's why we're here, and we're so excited to be fighting for an economy that includes all of our aspirations, that allows us all to enter into this journey together and to continue living with a sense of opportunity and a sense of possibility. So thank you so much.
Next up, we have Chris Shelton from the Communication Workers of America.
Good afternoon, sisters and brothers. Any millionaires in the audience out there? Good, I don't want to piss any of you off. So, you know, I'm real sick and tired of watching politicians on the news and in other places get up and say that everybody's got to share in the pain. Well, what time did the millionaires start sharing in the pain? Because they are not sharing in the pain anywhere. You know, if they were willing to share in the pain, maybe we would be. But we can't have an economy where only the middle class and only the poor pay taxes. We cannot have an economy that works when that happens. I learned an interesting statistic on my way here, that the richest 400 people in the United States have the same net worth as half the population, 155 million people in the United States. Now, to me, that's a country where those 400 people should at least be paying the same taxes as the 155 million people. But we're not even asking them to do that. All we're asking them to do is keep the tax that they've had for the last X amount of years, not pay a penny more, just pay what we've said before is their fair share. Well, what we're doing in this country, and it's happening in places like Wisconsin, you saw the governor there say, okay, I'm going to give some tax cuts to the rich. He gives tax cuts to the rich, it creates a deficit, and then he blames it on working people. Well, where I come from, brothers and sisters, that's just, there's no way that you blame working people for what you just did for the rich. We can't have that, and we certainly can't have it here in New York, because to have a good economy in New York, and a good economy means everybody chips in, not just the people who work for a living, but everybody. So we're here today. CWA belongs to this coalition, and we will belong, as Mike said, for years, because the only way to fix our economy is if everybody pays their fair share, everybody shares in the pain, not just working people. Thank you, brothers and sisters.